I'm here with Adrian. We call him Vato, as always. Not as always we call him Vato, but he's always here because we do our Sensei UFC together. Yeah, we're going to talk to you about this week's UFC, which was in Moscow, which is in Russia, and it was at 11 o'clock in the morning Pacific time.
I didn't get to watch it.
You didn't get to watch it, but I'm gonna go over, like, we do a podcast. It's called Pit and the Doc, and we really go over the whole card. So it's on SoundCloud and iTunes. It's called Pit and the Doc. Check it out. I'll link it below.
And YouTube.
And we're gonna talk about this fight. We're gonna go into the details of this fight, but right now I'm just gonna show you some of the lessons that I saw that I'm gonna teach you from this fight. The first one was from the Desmond Green against Tazumov. Okay. Tazumov was a southpaw, so I think what gave him the win, because it was a close fight, I think definitely Tazumov won. But Desmond Green, he had his moments. I think Desmond actually won the second round. He definitely lost the first, and he definitely lost the third. But one thing Tazumov was able to do, like Lomachenko, the boxer, he was a southpaw, and he was able to keep his forward leg outside of Desmond Green's leg, and he was able to dictate the distance and the movement. So he was able to just stay just a little bit here. In this position, you're able to punch more, kick more, and be more effective with takedowns. He didn't do any takedowns. I think he defended a couple pretty good. But he was able to dictate the fight. He was the ring general. And ring generalmanship, or generalship, and even though it's a cage, goes towards the scoring. In other words, who controls the cage more? And he definitely did. Not only by his aggression, because he moved forward more, but the way that he kept his forward leg, which you always want to do if you fight someone opposite of you. Like if you're a southpaw and you're fighting an orthodox, you want your right leg outside of his left. Okay? And you can do a lot more there than if he keeps his here, you're more at his mercy. So there's always a fight going on in the foot positioning, and it seemed like Tazumov was winning that one. And I think that's what helped him win, because he was just one step above Green in almost everything. So you always want to keep your front foot on the outside of your opponents if you guys are opposite. Check out Lomachenko. I'll actually link one of his fights. Watch his footwork, okay? That was lesson number one, guys. Pay attention to that, all right? That will work in boxing, kickboxing, and MMA. Combat sports. Okay, CB Dalloway against Khalid.
What do you
okay. This one? The ending was so brutal, I didn't even want to talk about it. I love Herb Dean. I think the fight went on way too long on the ground. There was pounding going on. And so CB Dalloway was actually forced to just quit after the bell rang, in between rounds. A fighter should never have to do that. He got the shit beat out of him. But the one thing that I want to talk about in this fight, there's two things. Number one, Khalid was orthodox. Then Khalid switched it up to southpaw. And like the second he did that, he threw a beautiful liver kick. Okay? Now, if you're a southpaw, a body kick is much more significant than if you're orthodox. Because no matter how hard I kick, right, if he was regular, then I'm going to kick him in the arm or the upper back, not as dangerous. Or if he was a southpaw, then I could get a little more meat, I could get the body, but it's not going to hit the liver. The liver is the most painful spot in the whole body. And if you're a southpaw, your back leg goes right to the liver, okay? So that's the best way to attack the body with kicks is from a southpaw stance. Because you can attack it the same way with your left leg forward, but you don't have the same power because your hip isn't cocked. So to cock your hip, you have to switch it, which telegraphs it, or step forward, which telegraphs it. But if you're a southpaw, it's already cocked, so you're not telegraphing, you just throw it, okay? So that's, to me, that's what changed the whole direction of that fight, was that liver kick that he threw. And it was really smart the way he threw it, because he's orthodox, but then he switched to southpaw just to throw that kick. And it landed, and it hurt CB, okay? But for some reason, he probably could have finished CB with a couple more body shots, but he decided to take him down for some reason, which was a terrible strategy, I thought, and so did Paul Felder and Dan Hardy. It was a terrible strategy because then he stayed on top for a while, and he let CB Dalloway rest. He ended up taking him down later and then knocking him out. But 2 lessons. Number 1, switching to southpaw right before you throw a brutal liver kick is a great strategy. Strategy number 2, stay away from taking your opponent down if you have them hurt on their feet. Last fight, Hunt against Olenek. I don't know. What this fight proves to me, even though Olenek got a choke, I don't know how, it was brutal. He was taking such a beating. But what this fight showed me was they were both orthodox, and Mark Hunt hurt him so bad with powerful leg kicks. It just shows you in a street fight or in the cage, but I'm addressing mainly this for street fights, you could really hurt someone with your shin bone against their thigh muscle. It's like hitting them with a baseball bat on the thigh if done right. So train your leg kicks because they can be very, very effective weapons. He almost stopped Olenek with a couple of leg kicks. Boom. My lesson here for that fight is leg kicks are a very effective weapon, all right? So that is Sensei UFC. I hope you guys learned something from it. Please comment, please subscribe, share this. You're gonna learn a lot and it'll make you a better martial artist. Thanks for coming.